back to Exchange Street Capital. Before we go any farther, I'm going to address, a serious situation. Last week, I know you were saying, Rick, you had the Grayson shirt on, you broke the streak of Peter Millar. Now what is this? I'm happy to say I'm back to Peter Millar, and yes, these are fish. I'm that guy. I'm the guy who wears fish on his shirt. I'm the 43-year-old guy who can't grow a beard in a pandemic with fish on his shirt. I'm going to tell you this. You haven't seen me in coral pants with this shirt with matching velvet loafers. As my son would say, watch my dad drip, son. So, that being said, I am Rick Allenbach, as always. Welcome. I'm excited tonight for a couple reasons. First and foremost, because of the topic, Bitcoin. WTF, Rick. Rick is me. I'm the Rick. For those who followed me prior to my YouTube career, who talked to me at any financial gathering or any gathering, were my friend, acquaintance, somebody who hated me and talked to me, or followed me on LinkedIn, you would know that I hated two things: Tesla and Bitcoin. Make no mistake about it, I still hate Tesla and always will. Asterisk free stock tip: if you want to go electric car route, and I'm down with electric cars, Neo, and not John Wick, who plays Neo in the Matrix. Ticker NIO, Chinese electric car maker, went from $1.50 to $5. They had some really good news, and you didn't miss anything. It's going to break through. But getting off that, it was Tesla and Bitcoin. I shredded it. There were more Bitcoin quote-unquote specialists when it went from 15 to 20,000 than you could shake a stick at. It was a riot, and I would just go against them all, and I had my reasons, and I still have my reasons. Before I talk about how I feel about Bitcoin, and again, let me just say, when I say Bitcoin, it could be cryptocurrency. There are thousands of altcoins or other cryptocurrencies. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. It's the biggest market capitalized. It's the most known. It's the most, as folks that believe in it, it's the most stable. I'm going to quote a lot of things today because I just, what we're talking about. But before we talk about what I think you should or shouldn't do with cryptocurrency, and especially Bitcoin, or what I feel about it after years of hating it, we need to know what the hell it is. So let's start there. Bitcoin was launched in 2008, which was a good time to launch a cryptocurrency because nobody had any faith in our dollar, our financial institutions. It was the fall of '08. It was launched by Satoshi Nakamoto. This person, and I say person, we don't know if it's a him or her, a collective group of people, because it's either a fictitious name, pseudonym. We don't know, because this person or persons wrote an 8-page simple white paper, launched Bitcoin, and then disappeared. He or she has over 1 million Bitcoin in their virtual wallet, and we'll talk about what that is in a few minutes. Worth well over $1 billion. Never been used, touched, transferred, anything. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories of what might have happened. All we know is those $1 billion plus of cryptocurrency were never touched. It only exists electronically. So right off the bat, we can't touch it, taste it, see it. Okay, fine. But it's created by someone who we don't know if they're a real person, a collective group of people. That person doesn't exist. They've never even used it. They have $1 billion of it sitting in a wallet. These are not the fundamental things that I typically, nor people that I follow or take advice from me, typically follow. But okay, that's fine. So let's continue. There's a finite number of coins. There's no organization overseeing it. That was kind of the point. You know, it was, even though the thought of this was created in the early 80s by cryptographers and very, very intelligent folks who maybe had it even more right than Bitcoin, and it just didn't work. Maybe the world wasn't ready for it. But the thought was less expensive, less middlemen, decentralized. They could avoid certain taxes, maybe legally, maybe not legally, but get away from the banks. So that's the problem with that is when there's no oversight, there's no oversight. And we have a situation where Mt. Gox, the largest exchange, gets millions of Bitcoin stolen from it, just out of nowhere. So, cryptography is the math and science behind it, and it allows Bitcoin or cryptocurrency to exist. It keeps the math correct and efficient. I want to be careful when I say efficient. It doesn't mean that it means you're going to invest to make money. They're going to go up, or it's going to efficient in terms of your transaction, or even efficient that you won't wake up and the exchange that's holding your Bitcoin, it won't be wiped out. You know, I had a person. One of my videos a couple weeks back was about stocks that I was buying right now. I wasn't giving advice. It was my personal journal of stocks that I was buying. And one of the comments was, this is silly and stupid and elementary the way you're talking about it. And it was elementary for a reason. I don't think it was silly or stupid, nor did the 100,000 people that saw it, mostly. But he said, invest in the S&P 500 because the market is efficient and the S&P 500 will beat anything. So if he had watched my videos before, he knows I love the S&P, and I think passive investing makes a ton of sense, and it is very hard to beat the market. However, in this time, and I think a lot of times as a stock picker, the market's efficient, meaning yes, it opens at 9:30, it closes at 4, normal trading times. It logs correctly, buys and sells. It has a trail of all that is done, but it's not efficient. The market is based every day on two things: fear and greed. Fear and greed every day. Now, yes, the deviation will return to the mean. That's why over a 10-year period it's hard to beat the indexes, but every year starts a new 10-year period, so depending on what you're doing, you can blow the market away. So being efficient and making it fair for you to make money based on something that you want are two different things. Too many people think efficient means, well, this is what I should do and then I'll make money. No. Efficient just means it's supposed to work right. So digital wallets pay for things. So your wallet, your wallet that holds your Bitcoin is simply software on a computer that holds Bitcoin. And there are two keys. One key is public, one key is private. The private key is a digital signature that only you can see that says you're going to pay, Joe Smith's going to pay Sally Johnson 5 Bitcoin for whatever reason. Give, buy, purchase, whatever reason. The public key is seen as a transaction and basically is supposed to self-verify that it is the person that it says it is. So these are the two keys that exist for every wallet. Transactions are entered on a massive ledger called a blockchain. Blockchain is not Bitcoin. A lot of people think that. I think blockchain and the technology around it is extremely valuable. This is how cryptocurrency is the trail of how it's used. It is decentralized, it is instant, it is anonymous and private. So those are the things regarding Bitcoin. Is it the Wild West? Is it a Ponzi scheme? You know, is it infested with cyber crime and market crashes? A lot of those things I would answer yes to. I don't know that it's a Ponzi scheme, but I will tell you, in '09 it had no value. It was mined and traded between miners for fun. Then somebody bought negotiated two Papa John pizzas, pardon me, on Reddit, $25 in value for 10,000 Bitcoin. And that gave it its first market capitalization of a half a cent. They needed an exchange. There were many exchanges. Mt. Gox became the largest exchange. We already talked about that Mt. Gox was hacked into and over 1 million Bitcoin were stolen. Can't get it back. Cannot get it back. And we're going to talk about that in the summation in a little while. I don't have it written on the board yet. Silk Road, for those who don't know, was a dark web marketplace that allowed criminal activity. You could buy drugs, you could buy guns, you could buy all kinds of crap. I've never been on the dark web. I never planned to be on the dark web, but it was massive. The gentleman who started it is doing life in prison now. This took Bitcoin, and you can see BTC because Bitcoin got so big that they gave it a ticker to track on the exchange, so people can see the value every day. Major retailers began accepting it, so it got some legitimacy after it really took a black eye for a bad name because it was used by criminal enterprises. Silk Road was a large part of that, but that wasn't the only issue. So Bitcoin, BTC, is a ticker that tracks Bitcoin. And then you had like the Winklevoss, so you had Winklevoss twins who got their money that they sued your boy Zuckerberg for, and I'm sure they had tons of money before that, but I will tell you, they went all in and became billionaires off of Bitcoin because it was fledgling. It was like so like anything else, like buying pets.com at $2 or buying VerticalNet at $5 and have it go to 1,000. They were worthless too. People made tons of money off them. So good for you, Winklevoss twins. That's awesome. They're still pushing the hell out of their Bitcoin or their cryptocurrency plays today. Every time there's an issue, anytime somebody gets robbed, every time the halving didn't work, every time it doesn't move or gets crushed, they're on the news defending the hell out of it. Of course they are, because they're leveraged into it heavy. Then Bitcoin becomes more valuable than gold. Well, that's a big deal, because gold is like, gold standard, the dollar used to be on it. Gold in every country has value. It can be used for things. It's a precious metal. It has absolute value. When things get crazy, people rush into gold. So then FOMO kicks in, fear of missing out. I do want to say, right now, with the market just getting off its best 50-day run in the history of the stock market, this is not FOMO. There's a great article in Bloomberg about what JP Morgan says, that the market has more room to go. I love this because they're usually the last to commit to anything. And also, my friends, really, really smart people that are really intelligent in the market, are calling me this morning even and saying, this doesn't make sense. The unemployment, the forced unemployment, remember, is there. Nothing matches up. I think I'm selling. And I don't want to tell them what to do. Quite frankly, I want people to feel that way, because the more people that want to sell means I'm right in buying. If everybody was buying now, even though the market's had its best 50-day, it would be trouble. Then you want to get in the money market. So we are not in FOMO now, but they were in FOMO. Golden age of Bitcoin is 2017. It hits $20,000 a coin. In 2016, when it was at 16,000, I said, I literally took a picture of a Chuck E. Cheese coin that said no cash value, and I put it on my LinkedIn. I said, look, I just found a Bitcoin. Negative sentiment from Warren Buffett and a bunch of people that know a hell of a lot more than I do along with government regulation. I hate to tell you, but at some point in time, the government's going to regulate something. They have to get involved, because millions of coins that have billions of dollars in market cap were just stolen or hacked into. This is silly. You know, this is like, we're not trading tulips in Holland here. This is supposed to be real. You want to have a real thing, there has to be some regulation. It falls down to $3,000. Literally, I remember my LinkedIn post. It was $3,600 off of the 20,000 high. And all these Bitcoin experts on LinkedIn, and they're robbing people, telling them how to trade Bitcoin and all this other stuff. They're still talking shit when it was at 3,600. And I said, down to 3,600. And they said, well, next stop 10,000. I said, next stop 0. I wasn't right. It wasn't right. It got back to 9. It's been trading at 9 because really all the pikers are out. I mean, they're mainly out. It's been, you know, it hovers between 6 and 9. Goldman has a trading desk for it. Goldman Sachs will put anything anywhere to make money. They've lowered. They are now coming down into the $100,000 retail investment range. They just bought Folio, a great fractional share online company that I loved back when I was in college. But the panache of these folks that think they're getting deeper value at Goldman, now they're going to be pissed, be like, well, what am I getting? And then if I was someone who had 400, 500 grand to invest, I'd be like, you wouldn't even pay my parking, and now you want to be my advisor. So my point is, them having trade desk doesn't mean anything. So people say it's going to 100,000 or 1,000,000. People say it's going to 0. Yet to be told. Yet to be decided. And we don't know. Okay, so we know. We do know, right? It's not going to hit 100,000 or 1,000,000. Based on fundamentals that we talk about, even in things of growth that I love, the lack of regulation concerns me, and I'm all for a decentralized system. There's going to be a time when we have that, and it's going to be a formidable, sound, safe, or as safe as it could be, coin, digital coin, that will afford us the ability to do transactions the way Bitcoin wants it to do. But there's no way. I'm not invested in it. I won't invest in it. Or the coins that are its peers, from a penny up to its market capitalization. It goes against all the things that we can do to make money now. Before I filmed this video, I just wanted to see what's going on out there, even on YouTube, and I watched 7 different 20-minute videos of so-called millionaires, yet they post videos 5 days a week about how to get rich on cryptocurrency. And they say things like, you don't have to know anything about cryptocurrency to get rich. You don't have to know anything about technicals. You don't have to know anything about anything. Just get in. That's the easiest way to lose money that I've ever heard. But it apparently works. These people have hundreds and thousands of followers. Some of them have hundreds and thousands of views. So it's clear what's happening. These folks don't know anything about what they're talking about, but they're making money off YouTube telling you and I to trade cryptocurrency. And they make the disclaimer that it might take 2 years. If you put $1,000 in, you'll make $100,000. It may take 2 years. Hey, that's a good investment to me. Okay, I grew up on the rule of 72. Every 10 years, your money doubles in a 7% rate of return. Now, I've been able to do way better with that. through options, which I haven't even talked about to my viewership yet, but even in picking stocks. There's no question. So I think it is absolutely irresponsible and a shame that folks get into this because they want to get rich quick. They want that. They want that. And while there's supply and demand, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, Bitcoin will still exist. But you're not seeing the volatility or the swings. You're not going to see 20,000. I mean, if it ever got regulated, or I don't want to even say Jamie Dimon, if it became part of the portfolio of an existing stalwart company on the digital side, then it could exist, but not as it is today. I'm gonna stick by my analysis that it's not at the end of the day it's not worth anything. I will tell you though, just like in 2000 when I worked for a company called VerticalNet, we were the ECE, B2B ECE, right? Business to business e-commerce enabler. Our stock was pre-split worth 1,000. We were burning money left and right. We were never going to make any money. We basically were the massive e-commerce mall for all types of products, whether it was syringes or Caterpillar trucks or everything in between. And Jack Bogle came out, and I thought he was an asshole when he said this, but he was dead on right. He's like, listen, the internet's going to work, and people are going to buy stuff on the internet, but it's not going to be from some third-party internet company that doesn't make any money. It's going to be companies like GE, and he was right. Now, partly right, you know, but it was certainly not the companies that burned out to nothing in the wake of 2001. I feel the same thing about cryptocurrency. It's going to exist, but it's going to be folks that already know what they're doing and use cryptography and blockchain to make it, you know, the next probably evolution, and revolution in the internet. Now let's talk about why Bitcoin can't be what they want to be. So before I talked about why Bitcoin isn't going to be what it wants to be, what you're hearing, if there's a massive rainstorm while we're shooting this. I don't wear a mic, I should. I don't edit it right, I should. But hopefully that's part of the reason that you love me, or at least tolerate me. So, Bitcoin's got a lot going against it. And these are things that I never dug deep in when I was just shredding it and knew that it was a fraud. But there's some fundamental things that are wrong with it, even though there are some things that they're really close to being great about it. I just hate when good people lose money from folks that don't know what they're talking about in the world of finance. And it sounds like I just described every retail advisor in the world, but I didn't. Did I? No, I didn't. So I have friends at the Plasma Physics Lab at Princeton. I have friends at MIT. I have friends that work in the NSA. I have really, really smart friends. I'm the loser in my friend group. I'm the dummy. They broke down very simple things to them, not as to me, but interesting things to me on why Bitcoin can't work. First and foremost, the size of the blockchain is an issue. It's getting bigger. Now, you could argue that it could go on forever. Of course it can. But it has to have broadband. Third world countries don't have broadband. They're on wireless cellular. It's not going to work. It can't do it. The blockchain is an issue for the ability for Bitcoin to continue. This causes a delay. Delay can be up to an hour and needs multiple hashes. Well, that can't happen for the kind of currency exchange that needs to occur. There's lack of recourse. This is the one that always made me run when I watched the documentary about Mt. Gox. I was like, who in the hell would put their money in this shit? fraud detection, help desk, compliance is needed. Right now, if you get hacked, it means your Bitcoin is irretrievably gone. There's no insurance for it. You can't. Who do you call? The hotline, the 800 number, your e-wallet, customer service. It's gone. It doesn't exist. This is a huge one, but this is one that I didn't even realize how tiny it is. I mean, when it was market capitalization is so funny to me. All it is the number of outstanding shares or coins times the value. Well, I can go to shit real quick. It doesn't have the necessary scale, as we said about the blockchain. Right now, it does 1 transaction per second. People think that's fast. The Visa, MasterCard, to even compete with it, not to beat them, to compete with them, has to 1,000 transactions a second. So it has to ramp up 1,000 times to beat major players. And I'm going to tell you something about MasterCard. And Exchange Street Capital owns the shit out of MasterCard. They have got brilliant people working on blockchain technology. Remember when I told you, when I was sitting at my desk and you heard all that rain, it's going to come from somebody that exists today. I don't have this as a play because people have $10,000 on their credit card and they're at 9% or whatever. That's fine. This is my fintech play. One of my fintech plays. This is my blockchain play. MasterCard's got Visa beat when it comes to that. So for these reasons, and the fifth, we know Bitcoin is mined. The miners aren't making enough money. Over time they can't and won't continue. So no more will be mined. We know there's a finite amount, but it's not all been mined. So they've done a really nice job, but it's not going to happen. It will not happen. Someday it will, but not with Bitcoin. So in terms of Bitcoin, WTF Rick still feels the same way, but he's giving a little credence to the technology because, man, they survived a lot in their 12-year existence. And they're resilient, I'll give them that. It's almost worth the Jesus hedge for that. Those of you who don't know the Jesus hedge, I have a lot of friends that are atheists. I'm Catholic. And I'm always like, man, if I didn't believe anything, I don't know why we get up every day. And they have all these great theories, and they're right, and faith is this and that and other thing, and okay, I just said, man, I hedge everything in life. Everything. I have a plan B for everything, especially when I invest. I said, I hope you're right when you die, because if I'm wrong, I'll only have whatever, hopefully 80 some years, whatever the expected life expectancy is, and then nothing happens. But if you're wrong, you have 80 some years of what you expected, and then an eternity of maybe a tougher road. So that's an analogy that I used to use with friends when I was in college and I was existential and thought I was smart, and then I realized I'm stupid. But the Jesus hedge is like, wow, if Bitcoin does make it somehow, there are really easy, like Voyager, trying to think, Coinbase. There's easy ways to invest in every cryptocurrency you want. Now, I'm not suggesting you spend 90 grand on crypto, but if they're saying 100K and you want a Jesus hedge, put 500 bucks on it. I didn't, and I'm not going to. My point is, I call it the Jesus hedge because I used to argue with my atheist friends about it. Man, you should have the hedge, and the hedge isn't going to be like when you're on your deathbed and you're praying, because I don't know, is it too late, isn't it? I don't know. I'm not trying to get religious on you. My point is, you can hedge it. This was a good try, but Bitcoin is a no. But it's unlike Tesla, which I will never give credit for, it's been resilient. Tesla's just going to break a lot of people's hearts, and I don't know where they're going to get their car serviced when they're bought by Fiat or BMW or somebody else. But as always, any questions? If you like what I had to say, if you didn't like it, please subscribe. You know, I think we're almost at 7,000 subscribers. We're nearing 1 million views, which is awesome. Make comments, even if you don't like. I love the comments that are negative. They're good. This is good discussion. I don't claim to know everything. I have beliefs that have made me very successful. But along the road, you know, sometimes, you know, I've had hiccups just like anybody else. So I love the discussion. I welcome it. Thanks for, you know, putting up with my shirt, and we'll see you next time.